What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Critical Overlord here. We're going to be talking about several different horror topics in this video here today. We'll be talking about Buffy the Vampire Slayer New Sunnydale, Scary Movie 6, Insidious 6, Scream 7, and Welcome to Derry. So starting off here with Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Chloe Zhao stated this to Variety recently. Well, she doubled down on the fact that one, the show is an upcoming sequel, not a reboot, because so many people keep calling it a reboot. And she addressed some other stuff as far as like plans for the show that we've heard before in the past. She said it's not a reboot, it's a sequel. You can never replace these characters. I would never allow that. And Sarah's back. I love my cast, the new cast. We will bring back OG characters for sure. And it is a show that bridges two generations. It's not just about the kids. I think the fandom is so important to us. We want fandom to see themselves mirrored in the original fandom. And of course, we want new fans to join. And it's very much about both generations. She goes on to say, I watched that show religiously. I was at Mount Holyoke. We would all gather, I think it was every Tuesday or Thursday, and we would watch because you only get one episode and you're waiting a week. It's such a ritual. I remember the last episode finishing and we sat there, everyone was crying and we were all holding hands. I remember looking at the screen, tears streaming down my eyes, and I said, good luck to you, Buffy Summers. Good luck to you. Seeing Sarah in real life was probably one of the most stressful moments of my life. So we've heard about this idea to bring in other legacy characters in the past. Everyone has their eye on Willow right now, but until further notice, I will say that I don't believe Allison Hannigan will be one of these legacy characters involved. Oz seems very likely because Seth seems to be good friends with Sarah, I think, just from what I see popping up on my social media feeds from time to time. Just don't turn the show into trip down memory lane palooza. Do not do that. Focus on Nova. Let the legacy characters earn their spot in her story. Chloe Zhao being a fan of the series seems to have been lost on many, so I'm glad these comments put some fans at ease about the revival because now they think it's in the hands of a fan and not just someone looking for their next big moment. And despite us being told, again for the upteenth time, that this is a sequel, this series will continue to be labeled a reboot. If you go on the IMDb page for this series, some new faces appear in the cast as well. One character played by Gabe Sklar has my attention. His name appears to be Finn. Now, I've not heard anything about Finn, but could this person perhaps be related to Riley? Or is it just a nod to the character? We'll see. Now, let's talk about Scary Movie 6. Regina Hall told Variety this about the Scary Movie 6 script and playing Brenda again. She said, I read the script and it was really funny. I knew what they were intending to do. I always think a work of art is in flux until it's done and in someone's hands. You just never know. But the original cast coming back was exciting. Having the Wayans involved again in Anna Faris too. Brenda can't live without Cindy, and she's no better a friend to Cindy this time than she was before, even though they're still best friends. Now, I think the nostalgia and timing made it feel right. It was a good time to do something so broad and fun. I read the script and thought, this is funny. And I think something is refreshing about doing something a little bit irreverent right now. Now, I think she told us Cindy and Brenda were still besties before, but I could be wrong. Either way, it's nice to know that that duo remains tight but complicated. I can't wait to see the reactions to this film because there's already signs of meltdowns coming. I gotta repeat this, but do not champion this franchise only to then be outraged by how offensive the new one is. It's always been like this. And if you are somehow offended by this, how did you stomach those first two movies growing up? How did you get through them? How are you a fan of the franchise and you're outraged by some of the casting decisions going into Scary Movie 6? This is in line with why we love the series. When I turn on a comedy these days, it feels like a much older person is desperately trying to connect with my generation and it just never lands. Like I've said before, if this movie is a hit, it could be the revival of comedy in a real way. Not these fake ways that we've been seeing where people, again, are desperately just trying to not be offensive. Now, let's talk about Insidious 6. Insidious 6 has wrapped filming. As much as we could go back and forth about how unnecessary this project is, we are indeed going back to the further. Amelia Eve, though, is the star that has my attention right now going into the film. That's like the only thing that really has me excited about the project right now. Some of the details I've heard about the plot sound interesting enough, but not like in a way that's, oh, we desperately need to see this story told. But I'm more excited for Amelia Eve than Lynn Shay's involvement at this point. I've seen enough of Elise. I can't wait to see Amelia's performance in the film. If you haven't watched Blind Manor, do yourself a favor and check her out in that series. But what are your hopes for Insidious 6? Or are you more interested in that Threads spinoff that seemingly fell off the face of the earth once the strike started? And we haven't heard anything since they ended. It's been crickets. No word on that Threads Insidious spinoff. Now, let's talk about Scream 7. I wanted to discuss a moment from the Scream 7 trailer really quick. In the trailer, there's this shot of Tatum looking out her open window while she is on her bed using her phone, I believe. And it feels like the perfect setup for the rumored bedroom recreation moment from the original film. Now, let me know if you believe this is that moment, but if you recall, during the audition process, Tatum snuck into her boyfriend Ben's room. However, in the final cut, I'm told that Ben is the one pulling the Billy Loomis after all, not Tatum. So just a small something I wanted to point out. And of course, in that moment of the trailer, if you zoom in or pause it very briefly and zoom in, Tatum's room seems to have like this board where Ben's name is on it. But what do you guys want to see in the second trailer for Scream 7? Let me know all of that down below. And did you think again that that moment in her bedroom could be the setup for the bedroom recreation scene that Sydney and Billy had in the original film? Now let's talk about the preview for Welcome to Derry episode 5, because man, does that look crazy. The preview looks like it will deliver our very first look at Bill Skarsgård as Pennywise up close. No more drawings or sightings from afar, no more silhouettes. We're going to be getting a full look, it seems, next week of Bill Skarsgård back as Pennywise for the first time in over 6 years, I believe, since It Chapter 2 dropped. Episode 5 just hit my inbox earlier today, so I'll probably watch it tomorrow night while I finish my Stranger Things Season 3 rewatch. They've done a great job building up our anticipation of this moment, but I hope we don't start seeing Bill every episode now. I don't want to see Pennywise every episode. The entity, of course, has been here since the very beginning. We've been seeing that, but we don't need to see this specific form too much. Maybe once next week during episode 5 and a couple more times during the finale. I'd be good with that. That's what I would do. But what has been your favorite part of Welcome to Derry? Let me know down below. And are you excited for next week? Because again, this is the moment we've all been waiting for. We are going to see Bill Skarsgård back as Pennywise, most likely. One last thing we're going to talk about today in this video is actually going to be pertaining to Ready or Not Here I Come, aka Ready or Not 2. We know that film is supposed to be coming next year, and I wanted to tell you guys that allegedly, rumored, it's not confirmed obviously because I'm not a reputable trader or anything like that, but trust, half of the things I've shared about the film along with this should age pretty well. But Ready or Not Here I Come story will mostly unfold at the Danforth estate. Now, if you recall my Everything We Know video, you'll recall that the Danforths are another family introduced in this sequel, and they're in bed with Mr. LaBelle, just like how the De La Moss family was. You have Sarah Michelle Gellar, Sean Hattasey, and David Cronenberg, who will make up that family. A few days ago at this point, a report from Daniel RPK also backed up my scoop reporting about a Gen V cast member participating in the film secretly. So Daniel reported that Maya J stars in the film as the ex-fiance to Alex, and she is not happy with Rose. I will just tell you that. As a reminder, Alex is the guy Rose was engaged to. So these two have one of the best brawl sequences I've heard in the film, but that's all I will say on that. But yeah, I just kind of want to give you guys that location detail for Ready or Not 2 to close out this video. The majority of the story takes place at the Danforth estate, and that's where the new game will be set at, and there's probably going to be a golf course or something else as far as like interesting set pieces in the mix. But let me know what you guys think about all this down in the comment section below. If you haven't already, of course, make sure you go ahead and subscribe. Turn on post notifications so you never miss a video. In the description, I'll have links to all of my social media accounts. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can message me there, of course, to let me know if there are any movies, news, or reviews you would like me to cover in the future. And with all that in mind, guys, I will see you in the next video.